It's a very laser-focused approach to prospecting, so that you're not spinning your wheels. But part of it, we don't even have a part of it out of the ground yet, and that is the direct mail piece. Our goal is to be mailing every month to half the list. We haven't even started that, and we're starting to see results, so that's a good thing. What's your goals in the Real Agile program when you say, you know, I want to increase market presence? Give us some numbers that you see out of your farms and identify how big your farms are right now.
Well, I have 3 farms. So my intent is to get in each one of the farm 60% of the market share.
Now, as a part of this program, you got to understand the power of what you just said. I took the mega agents in Long Beach and I said, okay, the agents that you really would recognize in a particular geographic area, how much of that geographic area do they control? So I looked back over their last year through their last 3 years of production, and it ranged anywhere from, and these are the biggest agents in town, 6% to as high as 13% in their geographic farm. So when she starts talking about, I want to absolutely lock up, even if she were to do half of what her intention is, at 30% she would own big sections of Long Beach because of her focus. That's a huge statement. I don't know a realtor that can stand up and say, I own 20–30% of a sizable geographic farm. Her farm is what, 10,000 homes? How about you, Jan?
My farm is about 2,800 homes, and my goals are not as grandiose as Francois's, but what I'm trying to do in this area, I have 2 big people I'm up against, 2 big realtors in the area. So my goal is to get 1 listing a month over the next 12 months. My average commission in that farm is about 15 grand. So if I do that alone, that adds 180 to my bottom line. But the thing is, if I get 1 listing, I know I'm going to get at least 2 more sales from that listing. So that's about 500,000 to my bottom line, and I think that's a really doable number because I know I'm not going to get full penetration in that farm for probably a number of years because of who I'm up against in it. But if I can do that 1 consistently every month, I think that could add a nice chunk of money to the bottom line, and that's all I'm interested in doing right now. And as every year, we'll get more than that every year. We'll maybe get 12 the first year, maybe the second year we'll get 20, and the third year we'll get 25. And as we expand on that, we're going to get more presence in that neighborhood, and we're going to take more of that farm every year.
Well, the farm that I have doesn't have one single person that actually has the market. So they're actually what we call onesies and twosies. So our ability now. The reason I have a bigger farm is because I have a team that works with me. So I have the ability to go farming every day, which is what I do, while the rest of my team is doing what they need to do. So I have a lot more freedom than Jan, and from Valerie, it allows me to do my stick.
Tim, you have a question?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to ask all of you, maybe how often are you farming each week?
I'll start. I'll continue the first question and answer Kim's question. My goals for the farm, absolutely similar to Francois and Jan's, and I want to own that area. And I'm up against a team of agents who have been farming for decades in that area, are well positioned in that area, well known in that area. In fact, I knock on the door and I get to hear, oh, well, we've been talking to Bob for years, and oh, great, Bob's a great guy. And you know what? I'm going to be standing on the doorstep when they're ready to sell when Bob isn't, because now all he does is throw things on the porch or maybe hire somebody to do that. In any farm area, somebody's going to dislike the established farmer, and they're going to be open to somebody else. So you never want to get caught up in that threat of that. My goal for the balance of this year is 46 listings out of that farm and 20 next year. That's the objective, that's the goal I'm going after. I am farming at least 4 days a week, an hour and a half at a time, and my assistant is farming 2 days a week, a little over an hour. So we are out on the farm every single day. I'm there in the morning and he's there in the afternoon.
When when we were looking at Real Agile as a system, putting the program together, one of the common comments that was said over and over and over was, what you're going to find in Real Agile when you knock on the door and you have a list, it's not necessarily the relationship that's being formed with that homeowner that's going to pay the immediate dividend. But inevitably what's going to happen is the person's going to say, well, we're not really looking to sell, but I know that my next door neighbor, she's been talking about or considering selling, and she hasn't hired a realtor, and why don't you go talk to her? And the other component to the program is that we all looked at it and said, to get a listing, to get 5 listings, to get 10 listings, means 10 signs, which are 10 beachheads, that you can begin to build a platform of presence within a geographic area to bring up buyers and to add additional listings. So when somebody says, I'm going to look at 10 or 20 listings this year, they may get 10 from the Real Agile, but because they've got signs out in the neighborhood, those 10 could morph into 20 and 30. And that's really what they're talking about. Kevin?
Well, just in kind of addressing the whole who controlled a farm, I think it has worked against the agents who have controlled farms in the last 2 years. The cherry picking thing is a much smarter thing. Unfortunately, if you were the primary farmer in a geographic farm, you are to blame for everything that's happened. So actually going in to already established farms works to your benefit. Do you not think so?
Absolutely, no, we
Yeah,
do.
I would agree.
We absolutely agree.
And it's,
The time is right.
right.
Exactly.
It's really, we did an open house on Sunday, and this lady said, I know you from closer to the shore. I said, that's true. She said, it was a very interesting question. She said, well, this is the third listing that I see here in our area. And I said, that's correct. She said, what made you decide to come here? And I said something which, it kind of caught me off guard. And I said, well, it looked like, a friend of mine asked me to cover this area because it looked like you don't have a very strong representation. She said, you're so right. And we have lost some of the people who used to be out there. And now you're right, it's a great opportunity to get in there because, as you know, people will forget.
What do you think makes the program, because it's more than just the list, what do you think what makes the program unique besides the list?
Well, with the program comes the dripping system and the follow-up. Real Agile list gets dumped into the profiles and farms, and then the emails are there. So it's really easy to set up the 8x8 and the 33 tashes because you don't have to do all of that yourself. And if you remember to keep on your target, our list will come with clusters. And we are learning from other people who are in other areas and how they work and how they're successful. And we are guided, I'm going to use that word, we are guided as to become really specific. So when we work the clusters first, and then we work whatever is left over.